Hi friends, good morning, welcome to Comics Odyssey once again. I'm glad you were able to join me. Usually I'd release this on Wednesdays, but once again, busy with the day job, so Saturday release it is. But I'm sure that you're okay with that. You're all a very supportive group of people. We are at the last installment of our Understanding Comics series, Chapter 9, putting it all together. It's a lot of review, so I'll just be kind of going back and forth throughout the book, maybe pointing out some favorite spots, and it'll be a bit shorter, so at the end I'm going to do a little update on the state of the Substack and of where I'm at with making Spirit Girl 3. So, like I said, this is a summation of his thesis that comics are an important medium. His theory is basically human experience is one of isolation, and the comics medium is a bridge between what is in one's head to what is in another's head. Which is, I think that's solid enough. He does kind of veer off into a little bit bizarre territory, I find. Like the idea that all inner truths are worthwhile, which I'm not sure if that's right. I mean, I think it's quite easy to fool oneself into believing lies. So I don't know, this idea that all your ideas are worth exploring don't really work for me. But, once again, his temperament is towards the realm of possibility, and he's pointing out that the world of comics, despite the pressures of technology and industry, are endless, right? So I like this final scene here where he's kind of raving about his theory on comics and stuff, and then the final panel where he's in his drawing studio, and his wife pokes out into the door here with their baby, and she says, at least you're not married to him. I get this all the time, which is a good way to bring it down to earth, right? He kind of has these high-minded ideas about medium and that sort of thing, but he brings it down to a domestic situation, which I find shows like a bit of humility, and it smooths out where it never comes across like overly pretentious or anything like that, but if it might, this would definitely inoculate against that. I gifted this book to one of my friends for his birthday. He's an intelligent man, and I knew that this would stimulate his smarts. And he pointed out that this was one of his favorite parts of the book, the specificity to universality spectrum, whereas like the cartoon is appealing because it's more universal, and I remember being quite struck with this when I first read it, and now that I know a little bit more about icon art and that sort of thing, I'm still interested in his idea, but I think he's oversimplifying it. I think there's more to it. I think the icon points to a reality that's even greater than universal, or I might say transcendent. Excuse me. This is one of my favorite parts. The concept of closure, how you put two images together, but there's nothing in between. There's blank space, but it's your perception that really makes the story. So medium of comics is quite participatory. It's a dance between the creator and the reader. It's one of my favorite parts. And then of course the Great Triangle, just such a cool mechanism for encompassing all possible visual styles. Very, very interesting. It's such an extraordinary amount of work that went into making this and studying all the different art styles. Just a depth of knowledge here. You can tell that Scott McCloud really loves comics and is very familiar with what comics are available out there. He dove deep, you know. And then here's one that I look at a lot. Is it in 3? That just the various types of panel transitions. Yeah, here. Actually, whenever I make a comic, I go back and I look. I don't think about this while I'm making the comic too much. I don't think, okay, here I need a scene to scene, here I need a moment to moment, and that might pop up a little bit while I'm drawing the comic. But really, what I do is I look back and then I kind of analyze where my tendency is, and then when I go make the next comic, I kind of have more, I've kind of front loaded my mind with this sort of information, so that it influences the next thing I'm working on, and it's also very useful. And he follows up in his book Making Comics a bit more about where to use the different types of transitions and what they're most useful for, which is is quite insightful. And I've been thinking about this too a lot, the motion line, now that I'm doing more action scenes and stuff. I was actually trying to remember from memory, does the line go from thick to thin, in which direction it goes in terms of the movement? So that's something you actually have to look at actual blurred photography to try to figure out. Yeah. That's Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud. We did it together. I'm glad that you tagged along. Tell me what your favorite parts of the book are, or the series, or whatever, the series of videos we did. I'd love to talk to you about this. This is definitely one of my favorite books of all time. Alright, so for the Substack, I'm going on break for the Substack, at least on break for the regular weekly content. Just it's Thanksgiving weekend. I thought it would be a good time to give it a rest. I've been doing weekly content for a pretty long time now. I am going to be finishing. Got 22 pages. I think I got 27 pages and a couple covers to ink. So I'll be finishing that up. Part of the reason I'm taking a break is I'm not too sure where I'm gonna go from here in terms of making content, and I don't want to do fake. I don't want to be insincere and just kind of stick to the grind for the sake of it. I really want to think about what I want to do next and do something sincere, right? So I just want to let it brew and see what happens. So I'm going to pause paid subscriptions so that you guys aren't paying for zero content. This doesn't seem fair. Another thing I wanted to mention is a special thank you. I was doing my taxes, and there's a little bit of revenue from the comics and the Substack. So I exported like the Excel file of like the revenue, and I saw the the list of people who paid for the Substack and who paid for a comic when I released Spirit Girl 1 and 2. So I think I'm going to put together an email with all your just to those people with a special thank you and some special content. And I want to say that I really appreciate that. It really, I was quite amazed that, I don't know, for some reason while looking at that, it had a wave of gratitude kind of come over me, that like people actually purchased things that I made, and I thought that was quite so amazing, so I really appreciate that for you guys that are supporting me. It means a lot to me. It actually makes a difference, yeah. I think that's it for the updates. Yeah, I'm hoping to have Spirit Girl 3 all inked by the end of this month, and then we're gonna hit up the lettering and all the digital stuff. So I don't know when it's going to be ready. It's hard to tell, ahead of time, because I don't operate on deadline. I just want to do a good job and learn how to do it right. And as time goes, I'll get faster. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. But I really like the way the inks are coming out. This is one of the stronger pages here, and I think it's coming out good. I'm having a good time inking these pages. Yeah, I think that's it. If you have ideas on what kind of content you'd like to see, please let me know. That'll help me out. I did have a poll come out a few weeks ago. Some people said they'd like to see me review like full runs of comics issue by issue, but it wasn't a lot of people, so it's not like a high demand thing, so I'm not sure exactly which direction to go. So suggestions will be welcome. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit on it and let it stew, and the next thing will happen when it happens. Until next time, have a good weekend, happy Thanksgiving, and God bless.